In a bad way. Wow, Matt, you had like 2 hits left. And that was the last one, I think.
What's he doing?
Teddy, why are you so cute?
I'm a cute guy.
That's true.
I get all the ladies.
Hmm.
Hi, baby. All the people, really.
You do make out with Marcy real good whenever she's over.
Maybe. This is all
Uh.
my fault. I should never have put you in that prison.
Oh, I forgot to mention this before. Over the weekend, my wife freshened up my haircut. It was very nice, very intimate. Bad touch. Oh, dog tags. That you pulled like a grenade pin off of him, and I was like, "This is bad for everybody." Oh, we can see his dog tags during his escape with BB.
Mm-hmm. I'm really excited.
Yeah, for us to learn more about him.
Really for you.
Fair enough. He's in a bad way. What's that, like an A? Is it our first B? Didn't feel like an S job.
Yeah.
First B, damn.
Mm-hmm. You hear that?
What?
You've got reports on the Voidouts of Manhattan.
Yeah.
You should read them.
I should?
Yeah.
Okay. Still transporters? Yeah, that one definitely did not go as clean as the previous one did. The one in the trenches. God, I'm very glad that they decided, you know what, he deserves a long rest. He needs to stay in a bed.
Well.
Oh shit. Well, that was upsetting.
Lou? Lou? How's little Lou doing? No response. Well, look at that. The child's taking a shine to me.
After his initial reaction
You
of
two were out
flipping you off.
cold, so I had you brought here. You were right. Whatever you did back there returned us to our own world. I put your cargo and gear in your private box. You
Oh,
slept for a
thank
whole
you.
day, you know. Slept like the dead. I'm already back in Capital Knot. Fragile's beach has been coming in handy. Sam, I owe you an apology. Lou was the name you were going to give your own baby if he'd had made it. I should
Aw.
have pieced it together sooner.
Don't know what you're talking about.
I found some records from 10 years ago. A death, sudden, in the middle of a town. Young woman in the prime of her life. Nobody knew until it was too late. A Voidout. Her husband, who was a member of Bridges, had dooms. He tried, but he couldn't get to her in time. The whole town was wiped off the map, leaving nothing but a big crater and him. Because he was a repatriate. People wanted answers. Did the man hide his wife's body on purpose? The only survivor was the only suspect.
You know, I'm not really a huge fan of how they pronounce
It was
that word.
easy to blame.
What?
And people
Repatriate.
did.
Oh.
I feel like it should
And
be
pretty soon-
repatriate.
They were blaming Bridges too. The man
Just
felt responsible,
Me being
so he left.
picky, I guess.
And his wife, who died, her name was Lucy. She'd been pregnant, poor woman.
Man.
They were going to name their son Lou,
Didn't happen.
but it did. President Strand told me. She talked about you all the time. He didn't have to cut all ties and walk away, she said.
You wanna shut the fuck up?
Damn.
Calm down, Sam. Take a seat.
I mean, makes sense. This
I
some
told
pretty
you
heavy
before
stuff
about
for
my
Sam to
body.
be thinking about.
70% harvested from cadavers. Do you want to know the real reason why? Because the story you've heard is one I made up. The truth is, I'm Frankenstein's monster. Artificial, grown from pluripotent stem cells. And when that vital spark didn't manifest in all my organs, they replaced the defective ones with those of the dead. I never had a birthday. I'm a soulless meat puppet. No car, a dead man. People born the traditional way have beaches. You have one. BB too. But I have no such connections. No mother, no afterlife, no beach. You
Guess
see
that would
now
explain
I'm
why
so
he's like
obsessed
not
with it
super
all.
understanding of why we care about BB.
The battlefield. Now that was an awful beach. But strangely, I didn't hate it. Because I knew you were coming for me. I've never felt that
We're
before.
friends.
Connected to someone, anyone. You didn't have to cut all ties and walk away. The president was right about that much.
Wasn't anything to walk away from. It's not like I was ever welcome there.
Come on, even I was welcome. Oh, that. You were holding it. It's an old dog tag, U.S. issue. Wasn't easy prying it out of your hand. Clifford Unger, as you can see. I looked him up in our database. Found a match. He was U.S. Army Special Forces. Fought in Kosovo, Iraq, Afghanistan.
That's him.
Damn.
Well, that's all I've managed to dig up so far. You must be caked in chiral matter from the battlefield. Time for a shower, I'd say. Oh, I won't be joining you this time. the die-hard man issue is no longer a concern. I've seen to it that our conversations won't be recorded.
Very nice. God, our little army of green men back there is really grown. Nightmares and memories. Yeah, we've got the option of revisiting those places. Alright, we should definitely clean up, though. Sam's in a bad way. Let's... Oh, it looks like it's telling us we have to take a shower to proceed. So we would have been doing that anyway. But before we do that, let's go ahead and have some drinks. Make our stamina bar bigger. Now we're getting some pretty heavy lore dumps. We're learning about Clifford. We're learning about Sam's wife and his potential son.
Mm-hmm.
So, I wonder what BB's actual name is then. Do we ever learn that?
Yeah.
Okay. Because Clifford seems to repeatedly call him BB.
Yeah.
Is it like short for something? Right.
Once you figure it out, though, a lot of things make sense. So
Okay.
there's that at least.
That's good. The game is buck wild, frankly.
And they say something at the beginning of the game. That makes a lot of things make sense.
Okay. Yeah, I accidentally found out what BTs stands for. Because I was trying to figure out how most people were stylizing it online.
Mm-hmm.
It stands for beached things.
Yes.
Sam,
That was nifty.
as you might have suspected, time here stopped while you two were on that battlefield. If my thinking is correct,
That's correct, yeah.
the dimension to which you traveled is a kind of beach. To explain a little, our bodies, our ha, all occupy the same world, but our souls, our ka, have beaches all their own.
Sure.
These beaches are given form inside our brains by our beliefs, religion,
he's pulling at me.
philosophy, and so forth.
Just enjoying the water.
A beach
I
can
love
be
to sit in the
anything,
shower with you guys.
and those
Yeah.
anythings
The best thing in the world.
form a multiverse.
To be fair, I would also like it if
many
if
people
we
die at once,
ever
their
did our
beaches can become
dream shower with a bench in it.
creating a strand field. This
I just don't like to like get up from that low,
by omnipresent feelings of resentment and despair.
especially not out of a tub.
More easily and frequently entangled. On such a beach, exits vanish and experiences cycle endlessly. Picture it like a record player. The needle skips, playing the same phrase again and again. They're fighting a battle.
It's like the longest shower we've watched him take.
Round and round it goes. Now, the battlefield you visited was in Eastern Europe in World War II. Which is strange, given that the man you encountered, Clifford Unger, played no part in that conflict. I can't explain it, but if you can connect me to the chiral network, who knows what we might
What's up?
discover.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I was just trying for you to figure out the things I know.
That's fair. Alright. Oh,
Still there, Sam? If so, I have a request. When you're ready, head upstairs to the delivery terminal.
okay. We'll deal with that in due time. In the meantime, though, let's go ahead and use the toilet. I haven't done that in a little bit. Oh man. 3 files at number 1. Let's see what we make for number 2. I have so many of those things and I never use them. I don't know. Besides making sure that Sam goes to the bathroom, I don't really know why I make these.
Nice.
Gross. I don't like how he looks in the toilet.
And it just goes, nice. One vial of number 2. And we already did our shower, so I don't think we need to do another. We had our drinky drinks. And then you said you wanted me to read over the Manhattan Voidout.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of information in the mail.
That makes sense.
And things like this.
Yeah.
And we kind of have not been reading them.
Yeah. These are interviews, journals. There we go. From the report on the Voidout in Manhattan number 1. Quarter unknown, recording date and time unknown, where unknown. Who the hell? Those were the doctor's final words at the time. No one knew to whom he was referring, and to be fair, there were more pressing issues at hand. The doctor in question was a surgeon specializing in C-sections. The procedure he was undertaking at the time, however, was slightly unusual in that he was operating on a mother who had been declared brain dead 7 months into her pregnancy. She had been placed on life support, but since her blood pressure was decreasing and the fetus was showing signs of bradycardia, the decision was made to operate. Because the procedure was broadcast to a medical research on a closed-circuit network, we are fortunate to have a record of what took place. Per the footage, the incision was made without incident. The plan was apparently to remove the fetus from the womb and immediately place it in a NICU, where it would receive the necessary care. Prior to this, the surgeon would, of course, have to cut the umbilical cord. This is a moment that changed everything. The moment the surgeon's hand touched the cord, in that instant he uttered his infamous last words, "Who the hell?" Following a number of tests and experiments, the conclusion was reached that this incident was an annihilation event brought about by the doctor's contact with whatever or whomever he had seen upon touching the umbilical cord. Though it eventually became apparent that the doctor had been referring to BTs, at the time no one could explain the underlying cause of the incident. Some later theorized that if the same conditions, brain dead mother, fetus, umbilical cord, could be recreated, then BTs could be detected and the mystery of the Death Stranding would be solved. Indeed, this was the theoretical basis upon which the government's own experiments and investigations would be conducted. They called the fetuses they used bridge babies, and the experiment became known as the BB experiments. Soon after the government's program got underway, the tragedy of Manhattan occurred. The BB experiments were conducted at a Manhattan-based government facility in such extreme secrecy that little is known about them to this day. One thing that we do know for certain, however, is that the experiments ended in tragic failure and were directly responsible for the total annihilation of the island of Manhattan, as well as the death of the president who had been observing operations firsthand. He was succeeded by then Vice President Bridget Strand, who shortly after her inauguration put an end to all further BB experiments and had all data destroyed. With her strong and steadfast leadership in the wake of the Voidout, she made great strides in quelling the chaos and unrest that had spread throughout the nation. She vowed to rebuild America and devoted herself wholeheartedly to this end. In response, separatists who opposed Reconstruction emerged and steadily grew more aggressive in their activities. One faction even managed to acquire documents relating to the BB experiments, and some speculate that this data was used to restart them in secret. At that time, however, no BB units are known to have been successfully created, and BBs in general remained a taboo subject in government circles. Interesting. So that was like the first accidental discovery of a bridge baby.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, let me just go ahead and clear these things while we're here, you know. Boy, there's a lot of these dips. Guess that makes sense. This game has a lot of, like, depth. Not just in its storytelling, but in its actual mechanics.